Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bon TV Kenya. My name is AC Bon. Today, the former Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Amolo Odinga, was heckled at Kisii Stadium. As he was giving his speech, Raila Odinga met a cold reception. Kisii has been Raila Odinga's traditional stronghold. So what went wrong? Let's dig in.
Ruto must go. That was the chant echoing through the stadium in Kisii when the ODM leader arrived for the launch of Shabana Football Club. Welcome to Born TV Kenya. But unlike before, when he would be welcomed warmly, this time around, he was met with boos and shouts, with the crowd telling him to leave. This happened because recently he joined President William Samoei Ruto, who is not very popular nowadays. Additionally, he has angered his supporters due to the government's oppression, the rising cost of living, and the administration's refusal to listen to the people. So his decision to support President Ruto led to him being heckled. Remember, Kisii has always been his stronghold, a stronghold of Raila Amolo Odinga. But this time he faced serious opposition, despite everything that had been planned for the event. But why was he booed? Well, just yesterday he downplayed Fred Okingo Matiang'i's candidacy for the 2027 elections, saying that Matiang'i was not strong enough, and that votes from Kisii or Nyanza alone would not be enough to make him president. This statement angered many people, leading to the hostile reception he received. However, despite everything, the event went on as planned, and he even managed to contribute $1 million as his donation to the club.
Political loyalty in Kenya just got turned upside down in the most dramatic way possible. Imagine a beloved leader showing up to what should be a friendly crowd, only to face an unprecedented wave of boos and protests.
That's quite a shift for Raila Odinga, especially considering Kisii has been his political fortress for decades. What exactly triggered such a dramatic response?
Well, you know how they say timing is everything? Just the day before this incident, Odinga made some pretty dismissive comments about Fred Matiang'i's potential candidacy, basically suggesting that the Kisii region's votes weren't significant enough to matter in the bigger picture. And, that really didn't sit well with the locals.
Oh wow, so he essentially alienated his base right before this major public appearance at the Shabana Football Club launch?
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. The crowd wasn't just quietly disappointed. They were chanting, "Ruto must go," which is incredibly ironic since Odinga recently aligned himself with President Ruto, the very person who's facing criticism for the rising cost of living and what many see as government oppression.
The economic context here seems crucial to understanding the depth of this backlash. How are people in these regions being affected?
You know, we're seeing unprecedented pressure on everyday Kenyans. Basic necessities are becoming luxury items for many families. And there's this growing sense that political leaders are completely disconnected from these realities. Like, Odinga showed up with a $1 million donation to the football club, but that almost seemed to make things worse.
So it's almost like trying to put a Band-Aid on a broken arm?
Precisely. And what's fascinating is how social media has amplified this whole situation. Within hours, what happened in Kisii was trending across Kenya, sparking nationwide discussions about political loyalty and leadership accountability.
The way this is reshaping traditional political dynamics is remarkable. What do you think this means for the upcoming 2027 elections?
Well, this could be a real game changer. Politicians can no longer count on historical support bases. They're going to need to actually address the real issues affecting their constituents. And let's be honest, when people are struggling to feed their families, they're not particularly interested in political chess moves.
The transformation of voter behavior seems to signal a broader shift in Kenyan democracy.
That's right, and here's what makes this truly significant. We're witnessing a fundamental change in how political power works in Kenya. The days of taking voter loyalty for granted are clearly over. Leaders who ignore economic realities and make dismissive comments about their base, well, they're learning the hard way that there are consequences.
Looking ahead, do you see this as a turning point for how political campaigns will be run in Kenya?
You know what? I think we're going to see a complete overhaul of how politicians approach their constituencies. They'll need to focus less on grand gestures like million-shilling donations and more on addressing the everyday concerns of their supporters. The era of assumed loyalty is definitely coming to an end, and that might actually be the best thing for Kenya's democratic future.
That really brings us full circle to how this whole situation started with a leader, perhaps forgetting that all politics is ultimately local.
Exactly that. And as we wrap up, I think the key takeaway here is that political power in Kenya is evolving. The voice of the people is getting louder, and leaders who don't listen carefully might find themselves facing their own Ruto must go moment. It's democracy in action, messy as it sometimes may be.
Raila Amolo Odinga downplayed Fred Matiang'i's candidacy yesterday. A question was asked to Raila Amolo Odinga whether he's going to support Fred Matiang'i. He indicated he might not support Fred Matiang'i.
You see, you cannot be elected president of Kenya on the basis of the Kisii votes, or the Luo votes, or Luhya votes for that matter, or even the Mount Kenya votes. If you want to be elected, you'll be elected by Kenya general. So that is something that we will deal with when the time comes up.
He even questioned how can he talk about a man who has never said anything. He has never said that he's going to vie.
Matiang'i has not, as things stand, come up to speak, to declare that he wants to run for the presidency. So I don't know where you're getting that.
It's very true that Fred Matiang'i has not come out clear whether he's going to vie. But from the indications and from suggestions, probably from close ally of Fred Matiang'i, like the Kisii Senator, Senator Nyonga, those are only speculations, but Fred Matiang'i has not come out clear whether he's going to vie for the presidency of Kenya. So Raila Amolo Odinga yesterday, from indications from the way he responded to that question, he might not support Freddy Matiang'i. And as you know, many Kenyans had hoped and believed that Raila Odinga, if he is not going to be the candidate in 2027, probably the best candidate to support is Freddy Matiang'i and maybe Kalonzo Musyoka. But Kenyans, majority of Gen Zs are against those politicians who have been there. They want new faces in the government, and Matiang'i has never been in elective position in Kenya, and this is the reason why probably majority of Kenyans feel that is a compromised candidate and whom need to be supported, and they were banking on the support of Raila Amolo Odinga. What does it mean? Is it a betrayal? Yes and no. It will depend on how you take it. But for me, if Raila Odinga was to support Fred Matiang'i, it was going to be a big win for Fred Matiang'i, because now he was going to take the votes in the Western Alliance, the bloc which President Ruto is depending on. And you see, majority of Gen Zs across the country are against the President William Ruto. Nowadays is so unpopular, and if Raila Amolo Odinga was to support Fred Matiang'i, it was to be, you see, the entire Kisii now, the South Nyanza is locked, and the Western, people from Western, people from Nyanza, those Western bloc, Western Alliance, he was going to get a lot of votes from them, and you see Mount Kenya is locked. If Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka were to agree also to support Fred Matiang'i, the expectation of William Samoei Ruto for a second term was going to be almost a nightmare. And right now, President William Samoei Ruto is so unpopular. In fact, siku ingine Rigi alisema ya kwamba jamaa amehangaika, hana form. So the guy is so desperate. William Samoei Ruto is so desperate. But I want to say this: some chorus, some people, and we believe that in politics is all about interest. And in most cases, your interest comes first. Don't think that these politicians think about you. No, they are after their interest first. And Raila Odinga, what is he gaining in the government, and what is he going to lose if he was to be outside the government? Probably, it's very clear, if Raila Amolo Odinga was to support, let's say, Freddy Okengo Matiang'i, or one of the from the purported opposition led by Gachagua and Kalonzo, probably Kalonzo Musyoka, it was going to be in a very big win for them, for the candidate or himself, because right now Ruto is so unpopular. Is so unpopular. But Raila Odinga does not know. Is not very sure of the outcome. So better it be where he has been, he has seen the benefits. And it's very clear, Raila Odinga has a deal with President William Samoei Ruto, and one of the deals is to occupy some of the positions in the government. Mnaona kitu kama ya budget ni viti zimeenda kwa ODM, and some of the ODM will donate experts into the President William Ruto's cabinet. People like Joho, Oparanya, Wandai na yule mwingine anaitwa nani, Mbadi, wako kwa government, na mmeona hata chuzi that it has been said or rumored that President, there is a deal to make Raila Amolo Odinga the prime minister. If it is going to be the case, we are just waiting to see how things are going to escalate. So Raila Odinga has seen already there's benefit. In fact, they are like sharing power. Or in other words, Raila Odinga is a co-president with Samoei Ruto, because Ruto depends on Raila Odinga for the second term. So Raila Odinga is going to figure whether he's going to lose these benefits to something he's not very sure of. Because in Kenya, Raila Odinga has been winning the election. It's very clear that in 2007, Raila Odinga won that election, but he was not declared the president. Somebody else was declared the president. A lot of supporters of Raila Amolo Odinga believes that in 2017, 2013, in 2022, Raila Odinga won those elections, but the guy has never been in the president.
That Moi has desperately manipulated the Electoral Commission to rig election in his favor in order to declare himself the president. We categorically reject the provisional results of the presidential elections. 5. We therefore demand that the presidential elections be repeated within 21 days in order to give Kenyans a chance to elect a president of their choice. Fellow Kenyans, we have in the last 2 days witnessed tensions running high in our nation. Kenyans are deeply disturbed and angered by the attempt of this government to steal this election through a process that was fraudulent at every step of the way. The people know that they voted to reject the incumbent and put in place a president and a government they will have faith in. That is why they have elected me as the president. And therefore ask that this current exercise and impasse can only be resolved through a national recount in Nairobi under the full glare of media watchfulness and the involvement of election observers. Only such a process will assure Kenyans that this was a credible election. It is clear that the constitutionally sanctioned process of electing a new set of leaders to take us to the next level has been thwarted by another tainted election. We will therefore shortly move to court to challenge the outcome that the IEBC announced a few hours ago. We want to appeal to all Kenyans to respect the rule of law and the Constitution of which they are so proud. Let the Supreme Court determine whether the result announced by the IEBC is a lawful one. In the meantime, the inaccurate and illegal text results keep streaming. The system has failed. It is the machine that is voting. We therefore reject all the results streamed so far and demand that the IEBC produces Form 34As from all the polling stations before any further results are announced. Our view in Azimio is clear. The figures announced by Mr. Chebukati are null and void and must be quashed by a court of law. In our view, there is neither a legally and validly declared winner nor a president-elect. Mr. Chebukati's announcement purporting to announce a winner.
What will make this election, the next election, different? Remember, from outsider, William Samoei Ruto managed to win the presidency in 2022. Now he's in power with the deep state and the system. How is he going to lose in 2027? That is a big question. So Raila Odinga is going to figure out the benefits and the something is not sure about. So there's those probability. So we are just going to see how things are going to unfold. What do you think? Raila Odinga downplayed Fred Matiang'i's candidacy? Write your comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, Born TV Kenya, and turn on the notification bell so that you are notified every time we post a new video like this. Like the video, comment, and subscribe. Here you're totally free. My name is AC Born, and this is Born TV Kenya.
Thanks for being part of this conversation. Drop your comment in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, Born TV Kenya. Like and share. See you in the next one.